The burden Luke carried, healing Grogu's Order 66 trauma. Picture this. The desert wind whispers across a vast, remote landscape, carrying the scent of dry earth and ancient stone. Luke Skywalker walks with purpose, his Jedi robes stirring gently. But his focus isn't solely on the path ahead. On his back, a small green creature with large, expressive eyes clings to him, a familiar sight to any who witnessed Luke's own arduous training. It's an image that echoes through the Force, doesn't it? Luke carrying Grogu, just as he once carried Master Yoda on the swamps of Dagobah. This wasn't merely a practical act to spare Grogu's short legs from the long journey. For Luke, it was a profound, almost sacred mirror, reflecting his own path, his own lessons, his own burdens. He understood the symbolic weight of this act. Not so long ago, he too was carried, both physically and spiritually, by a wise, diminutive master who saw potential where others saw only a farm boy. But Grogu was different. While Yoda had pushed Luke towards the light, toward a confrontation with his destiny, Grogu carried a different kind of weight. A deep, unseen resistance seemed to cling to him, a shadow that dimmed his otherwise curious gaze and held him back from fully embracing the Jedi path. Luke, ever the dedicated teacher, initially saw it as reluctance, perhaps fear of commitment, or simply the ingrained habit of survival. He tried to teach Grogu the ways of the Force, the discipline, the focus. He demonstrated the basics, encouraging the small being to reach out, to connect. Yet time and again, Grogu would falter, retreat, a flicker of profound unease crossing his face. Luke observed. He listened, not just with his ears, but with the Force. He noticed the flinching away from sudden sharp noises, the distant, vacant look in Grogu's large eyes whenever the conversation turned to the Jedi Temple or the past. A chill would seem to pass through the air around Grogu then, an almost imperceptible shiver that spoke not of cold, but of a deep inner tremor. Luke began to understand that Grogu's struggle wasn't a lack of talent or even just a fear of the unknown. It was a profound emotional scar, a burden of memory that weighed heavily on his small frame. Then, slowly, through shared silence, through gentle probing, through the trust that began to bloom between them, the truth of Grogu's past began to emerge. Not in words, but in fragmented, terrifying flashes that Grogu's mind could no longer fully suppress. Luke pieced together the fragments. The grand, sacred halls of the Jedi Temple, once a sanctuary, now a scene of unimaginable horror. The sudden, chilling betrayal. The relentless, mechanical advance of the 501st Legion, once trusted protectors, now cold, unfeeling executioners. The bright, searing light of blaster fire. The agonizing cries of those he knew, those who had sworn to protect him, gunned down without mercy. It was Order 66, the Great Purge. Grogu had not merely survived it, he had witnessed it. He had seen the very foundation of his world crumble, shattered by the betrayal of those meant to uphold peace. He had felt the crushing weight of the dark side's ascendancy, the sudden violent death of his caretakers, the terror of being hunted. Suddenly, Grogu's reluctance made perfect, heartbreaking sense. How could Luke teach discipline when his student's very being was still reeling from chaos? How could he demand focus when memories of gunfire and betrayal still echoed in Grogu's tiny mind? How could he encourage trust when Grogu had witnessed the ultimate betrayal? This revelation was a turning point for Luke, not just for Grogu. As he helped Grogu navigate these painful, vivid flashbacks, Luke was forced to confront the nature of trauma itself. He saw in Grogu's eyes the same fear, the same confusion, the same gut-wrenching sense of loss that he himself had experienced. Though their circumstances were different, the emotional core was strikingly similar. The the sudden, violent shattering of a perceived reality, the profound sense of abandonment, the struggle to find light in overwhelming darkness. Luke understood the burden of a traumatic past, the way it could linger, twist perceptions, and hold one captive. He thought of his own father, Anakin Skywalker, a Jedi Knight consumed by fear and loss, twisted into Darth Vader. He thought of his own journey, the constant struggle against the fear of turning to the dark side, of repeating his father's mistakes. He understood the deep, almost unbearable weight of expectation, the fear of failure. In helping Grogu confront these painful memories, Luke wasn't just teaching a student, he was healing a wound. He was showing Grogu that fear, while powerful, doesn't have to be a cage. He was demonstrating that memories, no matter how painful, could be acknowledged, understood, and slowly, gently integrated. It wasn't about forgetting, but about processing, about finding a path through the trauma, not around it. This experience deepened Luke's empathy beyond measure. He transformed from a simple teacher, instructing in techniques, into a true master, capable of healing the wounds of the past. He learned that mastery wasn't just about wielding a lightsaber or moving objects with the Force. It was about understanding the human, or rather, the sentient condition. It was about recognizing that the greatest battles are often fought within, and that true strength lies not in suppressing pain, but in gently guiding it towards understanding and peace. The lessons he imparted to Grogu became less about rigid Jedi tenets and more about compassion, patience, and the profound power of connection. He didn't force Grogu to suppress his past. He helped him embrace it as part of his journey, a testament to his survival and resilience. It was a slow, arduous process filled with setbacks and moments of despair, but with each gentle step, Luke understood himself and the Force more deeply. The burden Luke carried was not just Grogu on his back. It was the weight of his own past, the legacy of the Jedi, and the responsibility of healing a new generation. Through Grogu, Luke found a path to truly embody the lessons of the Force, not just as a weapon or a tool, but a balm for the spirit. He became a master not by imposing his will, but by offering understanding, not by demanding perfection, but by nurturing healing. And in doing so, he prepared himself, and perhaps the galaxy, for the next chapter of the Force. This journey with Grogu highlights a profound truth. True leadership, true mastery, often emerges not from flawless power, but from compassionate understanding of vulnerability. It's a testament to the idea that sometimes the greatest act of courage is not fighting an enemy, but helping someone heal from the scars of the past. What are your thoughts on Luke's profound experience with Grogu? How do you think this shaped his understanding of the Force and his own destiny? Share your insights in the comments below. And if this reflection resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more journeys into the heart of Star Wars. Thank you for listening.